All right. Hi there. I'm Medium's CEO, and obviously you are here for me to talk about Medium, but instead I might start by talking about Vermont. Um, the first time that I wrote about building a better internet, Ryan Rucker, who is both a Medium reader and a Medium writer, sent us a comment. And for our global audience, who might not already know this, Vermont is part of the United States. It's often considered one of our gems. Ryan wrote in to say why. He said, "The first time that I drove through Vermont, I felt at peace looking at the beauty. Later, I learned that Vermont had banned billboards so that people could better enjoy this beauty. Medium reminds me of Vermont. Too many places are littered with ads, which then make the experience more stressful than it's worth. So then I come to Medium. I read articles from seriously talented writers, and I feel refreshed, informed, and far more connected." Oh, thank you, Ryan. Like Vermont, Medium has no ads, and that's because ads are a distraction from what you are here to do. We are building a better place on the internet that treats you the way Vermont treats you, as opposed to, say, the way a Las Vegas casino treats you. We want you to be part of this. Instead of ads, we've chosen to be member supported, and you, thankfully, have given a lot of that support. I think about half of the attendees today are members. For the half of you that aren't members yet, I'm not here to sell you. I'm just going to tell you that what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if that seems like something you want to be a part of, then today is the last day of our summer membership drive, and membership is 20% off. So let's talk about why the rest of the internet doesn't feel like Vermont. The problem we're solving here when we talk about a better internet is that the status quo is so bad. We know the internet is broken and getting worse. It's flooded with ads, with spam, misinformation, disinformation, division, anger, and hate. The villain in this story is ad-based businesses. They make businesses care more about your attention than they do about serving you. It's as simple as incentives. When a business is paid for by ads, you stop being their customer. Because we are member supported, we get to build our space on the internet very differently. And I'm going to go deep on three key areas. The first is we are building a place that recommends the best writers, not the loudest ones. This is the most important thing we're doing, so I'm going to spend the most time on this. Medium is about connecting you to great writing. On Medium, we've often found that the most interesting writers rarely have the time or desire to learn to play the attention-grabbing games of the rest of the internet. So Medium is built differently so that we can find and share these writers with you. Here, I might give you three examples. One, a year ago, you may have remembered what a big news story it was when generative AI hit. And the New York Times in particular was on this, with the story publishing 12 names they felt you absolutely needed to be paying attention to. But somehow all these names were men. And this was such a bad miss that they even left out the chief technology officer of OpenAI, by far the biggest company in this space. And so soon after that, a writer on Medium, Sephora Bemba, who isn't a journalist, but rather a professional in this field, published suggested corrections on Medium. Here's a better list of people you should follow. Recently, when the US Supreme Court issued a ruling on immunity, the internet was flooded with partisan opinions. But here on Medium, in the I Taught the Law publication, a writer named Dan Cannon, who's also a Brandeis professor of law, put the news into legal context for everyone. Fans of Andre 3000, taking a different tact, fans of Andre 3000 had been waiting for years for him to release another rap album. Instead of doing that, and surprisingly, he released an instrumental flute album. On Medium, Joe Spearman wrote about hearing him perform live, saying, "Last night I witnessed a performance that moved me to tears." These three stories represent examples of how all of us are filled with expertise. The first example is expertise about your profession. The second is academic expertise earned through research and scholarship. The last is lived expertise. By definition, all of us have expertise about what we have lived through. And that's the magic of blogging, is that you come to discover how often one person's experiences, big or small, ends up being a big help to the people that read them. This is why we want to help writers spend more time living and less time hustling in the attention economy. Medium is very different that way for writers. The challenge then for us is, how do we help readers find these great stories? One of the biggest ways, the most important ways, is our publications and the publication editors. There are more than 300 publications on Medium that accept submissions. Of course, they have standards. I'm pretty sure you have to have a law background if you want to write for this I Taught the Law pub. And that's the point. Each publication is a curator of a level of quality and a point of view. Nearly half of what you read on Medium was published and edited by one of these community publications. But what you probably don't know, unless you are a writer here, is how much time these editors spend. In May, we were lucky enough to have two editors come speak to the Medium staff. This is Deb Harmon and Judy Walker from Parasol Publications. In the background are various Medium staffers, like held at rapt attention. These editors, they don't work for us, they work for themselves, and they work for their community of writers. And just talking to them was, I mean, I don't have any other word than it was awesome. And they were as generous with us as they are with the writers they work with. And so when they talked to us, we got to ask them, what's your editing process like? And the answer was so extensive that I almost need a second talk just to summarize it. But the shortest summary I can give is that there's an editor doing the acceptance, different editors editing for grammar and spelling and formatting. There's often a discussion amongst the various editors of this publication about how to help. And then when the pieces are so good that they are candidates for Medium's Boost program, the editors and the authors sit down to do even more work to improve them. These steps all involve different authors in the publication and a direct human touch between the editor and the author. I give this example because a lot of supposedly human interactions on the internet are actually pretty transactional. Like retweeting someone is not the same as knowing them. But Medium is so far from this transactional world. If you are part of this community, you are going to meet real people, get real feedback, have real conversations, and many of you are going to end up meeting in person. The second way that we're building a better internet is by respecting your time free from ads. A huge swath of the internet is supported by ads. That's the dominant business model. But I don't think you can build anything healthy if that's your business model. And we've seen this. With ads, publishers get paid for your attention rather than the value they provide. That's why the rest of the internet has so much clickbait, doom bait, rage bait, all the baits. They all grab your attention just long enough to show you an ad. But do they make your life better? No. So in 2017, this predates me. In 2017, Medium decided that we'd be member supported rather than ad supported. We don't show ads at all. And as a result, Medium lets you focus on the story. That's the obvious benefit, no distractions. The even bigger benefit is what it means to be member supported and know it. We know it because we learned the hard way that there's a big difference between what a member will click on and what they will be happy to have paid to read. Our business only works if we hit a very high bar, which is that you read things that you are happy to have paid to read. The third way we're building a better internet. And part of how we ensure that you read only the best stuff is we do so much work to protect you from spam, fraud, trolls, and AI generated content. These are the bad actors of the internet. And I want to give you a sense of how bad it's gotten. Last year, Medium removed about 1 million spam posts from your feeds every month. Last month, we removed nearly 10 million. That increase represents a deluge of bad actors that is hitting every part of the internet. We're able to do this because of our engineers, yes, because of our trust and safety and curation teams, and because publications are great curators. It's honestly mostly the publications that have held back this tide. And what they do is they pick the treasures so that you never see the trash. Like, yes, a lot of spam is getting posted to Medium, but it really only matters if those posts show up in your feed. And we do a lot to make sure that that doesn't happen. This work also does another important thing, which is that it makes Medium feel like a place where you can have a discussion rather than a place where you are bound to have an argument. The more we do to hold back bad actors, somehow the more free speech we create. So that combination of things, the way we focus on humans as writers, readers, and editors, the fact that we're member supported rather than ad supported, and the attention we pay to fighting bad actors, all of these are the major reasons that Medium feels like a better internet and why Ryan was writing in comparing us to Vermont. We're working hard to keep it beautiful. All right. A lot of you came here for updates, and I've got 9 of them. So let's get into those. First, Medium is profitable. August is our first profitable month in the entire history of the company. And we got to this point, which is a real milestone for us because more members are supporting us than ever before. In April, we celebrated 1 million members. There's a minor side story here if you go to Richard's talk in the programming track today about how good engineering also saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars from our server bills. But mostly we're profitable today because we did a better job of making something members want to subscribe to. And this milestone has one thing that should be important to everyone here. We're talking about a better internet. What I'm saying in this point is that it's not a fantasy. What we are doing at Medium works. And also, thank you, it works because the members support it. My second update is about Friends of Medium. Last fall, we released a higher priced membership tier that offers nothing other than the ability to pay more money to the authors you love reading. It's literally just an opportunity to be generous. As of today, 9,661 friends have signed up to pay more to the authors they love. All of this money, I know writers are going to want to know this, all of this money goes to writers. And even as maybe we talk about cost cutting in other places, we've ended up getting to profitable by paying writers more. For this feature, or this tier in particular, I just think there's no better indication of the health of this community than the number of people who pay more just because they feel generous towards the writers here. Third update. We have a new icon and logo. Over the years, Medium has changed icons a bunch of times. We first started with a typographic approach, and then 4 years ago moved to an ellipsis. The ellipsis was meant to convey that there's always more to the story, and thus there's always more for writers like you to contribute. However, the typographic approach drew us back because it conveyed the timelessness of writing and your writing in particular. And I connect this symbolically to our business success. Medium is a stable and hopefully timeless company now, and so is your writing. The new icon is live on our apps and our website, and it combines both of those concepts. It brings back the timelessness of the typographic approach, while also, and this could be a psychology word, also using a Gestalt technique for letting your mind fill in the rest. And that's to convey that there's always going to be more stories to tell. This is not a rebrand, as I was talking to our designers. It's a reaffirmation of Medium strengths. It uses concepts that we've believed for a long time. Fourth change, the Boost is our primary program to curate the best stories for each reader. It works through our publication editors, acting as curators and nominators for what's important to read, not just what might be popular. To date, we've boosted 4,200 stories, and those stories have gone on to get 179 million views. So that's not bad. I have one more thing to say about that. 2 years ago, people were telling me Medium was cluttered with get-rich-quick scams and cheap listicles, and that's just not true anymore. Sure, they exist, but that's not the thing. That's not what defines the Medium experience anymore. And as a result, we're hitting record membership levels. I can't stress enough, the thing that changed Medium is this Boost program. So thank you for everyone that participates. I have an update on verified book authors. More than 9,000 writers have signed up for our verified book author program. This is double from last year. And this program helps book authors get the word out about their book, and it helps readers understand more about the credibility of what they're reading on Medium. There's 9 verified book authors who both are speaking here today and have a book on my bookshelf behind me. So that's noteworthy to me. Sixth update is we're supporting 77 new countries in the partner program. That change just went fully live yesterday, actually. Our view is that understanding the world requires hearing from global ideas and experiences. Our partner program expansion now means that writers in 77 additional countries can get paid for their writing. And global diversity is just one of the ways that diversity is the virtue of at Medium. This word got hijacked by politicians for some reason, but the way we look at it is based on a simple fact. By definition, you can only learn something from someone who is different than you. So what is that other than diversity? Seventh update is about something in the works. Part of elevating publications on Medium is constantly increasing their ability to curate the best of what they see. A thing that's coming is that every single publication on Medium will get more power to boost stories to their own audience. That's all I can say about that today. My 8th update is about Mastodon. Last year I said that Twitter was dead. Well, it hasn't died, even if it's basically dead to me. I just don't feel healthy there. I don't want to spend time there. What has happened is that there's been a large exodus to a number of places: Blue Sky, Threads, Mastodon. We run a Mastodon instance as a way, just as a service to help. And I'm personally involved in a lot of the back channel nonprofit work that's going to support that movement. But we think writers who write on Medium often want to be involved in those platforms because I find I work out ideas in short form that end up being blog posts later. I think it's no more complicated than that. So we have this vested interest in helping to support that. Today, I'm basically just supporting it with advice. One way to find a short form community is on Mastodon. We run our own instance, which gives you a hot @me.dm Mastodon username. Some people like this quite a bit. But I'm also active on Threads, and I find the difference is that Mastodon has deeper and more authentic conversations, and that Threads is more performative. But I'm often in the position of needing to do promotion for Medium, and I'm finding more success promoting Medium on Threads than I do on Mastodon. Last, I want to talk a little bit about the newsletter we launched at the beginning of at the beginning of the year, the Medium newsletter, aptly named. We launched it trying to be a deeply thoughtful and curious daily read. And we did it for this one purpose, which is to showcase how the writing on Medium completes and complements the topics of the day. Like I find I often don't truly understand a topic until I've read about it on Medium. And it's because the Medium readers, or writers, they come at it from a different perspective, often a much more firsthand experience. So this is, if you think today is a showcase, well, today is just once a year, unfortunately. Medium Day only comes on our birthday. The newsletter instead is something that can showcase the writers here on a daily basis. And I think the thing that I use it for is if a friend or family member doesn't understand what makes Medium great, I send them this newsletter as an example of kind of the entry point. So I say this next thing with a little bit of hesitation, given how many people are here, but we actively encourage people to submit tips. These are tips for stories to feature, topics to cover, including your own stories. The Medium newsletter is actually one of the largest on the internet, which means that getting featured here puts your story in front of more than 1 million readers. Of course, we only have room to feature generally about 5 a day. But if you think you've written the thing that explains the topics of the day, go ahead, send us a tip. The email address is just tips@medium.com. One more thing before I open this up to Q&A, and that one more thing is to thank a small handful of people. First of all, thank you to the Medium team who is running this event. This is a ton of work, and you do it with such class. Thank you. Thank you to the 119 speakers who have volunteered their time here today. Each is also a Medium author. Thank you to the more than 16,000 people who have signed up to attend. But mostly thank you for the 1 million members who make Medium possible. For the half of you here today who aren't members, just make sure you sign up today because that's when the 20% discount ends. 2 years ago, I took this job knowing that we were going to have to make hard changes. But all those hard changes are in the past now. So let's reap the rewards together. Let's celebrate Medium today with our speakers. And with that, if you don't mind, let's move on to Q&A. We've gathered